Officer Johnson had been on the force for 10 years, and he had always prided himself on being a fair and just cop. But on this particular day, everything changed. It was a hot afternoon in the small town of Cedar Springs, and Officer Johnson was sitting in his patrol car, sipping on a cup of coffee and watching the people go about their daily business. Suddenly, a call came in over the radio. There had been a theft at the local grocery store. Officer Johnson wasted no time in responding to the call, and he arrived at the scene within minutes. As he entered the store, he saw a young black boy standing by the candy aisle, looking nervous and scared. The store manager pointed to the boy and said, "That's him, officer. He's the one who stole the candy." Few minutes earlier, a young black boy named Malik. He had just finished school for the week and was excited to pick up some candy from the local grocery store as a treat for himself. Little did he know, his innocent trip to the store would soon turn into a nightmare. As Malik entered the store, he headed straight for the candy aisle. He carefully selected a few of his favorite treats and made his way to the checkout counter. As he reached into his pocket to pay, he suddenly felt a rough hand grab his shoulder. Startled, Malik turned around to see a white police officer standing behind him, a stern expression on his face. "Son, I'm going to have to ask you to come with me," the officer said gruffly, as he handcuffed Malik and led him out of the store. Shocked and confused, Malik tried to protest his innocence. Malik looked up at him with wide, innocent eyes and said, "Sir, I didn't steal anything, I swear." But Officer Johnson didn't believe him. He opened Malik's backpack and found some candies. "But sir, I don't know how these candies got into my bag. I didn't steal them. You have to believe me, please." Despite Malik's plea for the officer to check the surveillance footage, he refused and, without a second thought, Officer Johnson cuffed Malik and led him out of the store. As they made their way out of the store, a crowd began to gather, whispering and pointing at Malik. The embarrassment and shame washed over him like a tidal wave. He had never been in trouble with the law before, and now he was being treated like a criminal in front of everyone. As they reached the police car, the officer shoved Malik into the back seat and drove off towards the station. Malik sat in silence, his mind racing with questions and fears. What would happen to him now? Would he be charged with theft? How would his parents react to this? When they arrived at the police station, Officer Johnson took Malik into the interrogation room and sat him down at the table. He started questioning him about the theft. Malik maintained his innocence, tears streaming down his face as he recounted his side of the story. The officer, however, refused to believe him and threatened to send him to juvie if he didn't confess. "Malik, I need you to tell me the truth. Did you really steal that candy?" Officer Johnson asked gently this time. Malik shook his head vehemently. "No, sir. I didn't steal anything. I swear on my mama's grave." Officer Johnson felt a pang of guilt in his chest. He knew that something wasn't adding up. Just then, a store employee burst into the room, holding a security footage. He played the video for the officer, revealing the truth. Malik had been framed by the racist store manager. The footage shows when store manager reached out and slipped the candy bar into Malik's backpack when he wasn't looking. As he watched the footage, Officer Johnson's heart sank. His eyes widened in shock as he realized his mistake. He had wrongfully arrested an innocent child based on false accusations, without proper investigation. The woman had framed Malik, and Officer Johnson had fallen right into her trap. Filled with regret and anger at his own blind assumption, Officer Johnson immediately released Malik from custody and went back to the store to confront the manager about what had happened. Feeling a sense of guilt wash over him, the officer rushed back to the grocery store to confront the racist store manager. She tried to deny her involvement, but the security footage didn't lie. As the truth was revealed, the store manager's face turned pale with fear. She knew she had been caught in the act of framing an innocent child. On hearing this, the store owner immediately fired the store manager. She was arrested and charged with framing Malik and several other innocent people. After an investigation was carried out, it was discovered that she had a history of targeting black individuals in the community. The store manager was publicly shamed for her actions. Her actions served as a stark reminder of the harm that can be caused by bigotry and hatred. Malik's name was cleared, and he was compensated for the trauma and injustice he had endured. Officer Johnson made a public apology to Malik and his family, and he vowed to make things right. From that day on, Officer Johnson made a promise to himself to never let his assumptions cloud his judgment again. He learned a valuable lesson about the dangers of racism and prejudice, and he vowed to always uphold justice and fairness in his role as a police officer. Malik and Officer Johnson formed an unlikely bond, and they worked together to educate the community about the dangers of racial profiling and discrimination. Their story became a symbol of hope and redemption in Cedar Springs, and it served as a reminder that justice can prevail in the face of adversity. What do you think about this story? Leave a comment below this video. Thanks for watching.